Hey guys, Rich here, Rich's Custom Marine and Auto. Quick one for you today. Working on my tow rig here. It's a 1405 BBK, and there is a difference between them. So this one here, this will be the driver's side. This one here is the passenger side, and you can see it's got the EGR port opening for that right there. So alright, I'm going to put the camera down and get going here. Okay, and then once you get that loose, you can just pull out a little bit, slide that gasket back. Alright, we can definitely see where it's been leaking. And it looks like it's been leaking up there too. So basically 2, 6, and a little bit of 8. So now we'll go ahead and put you guys back in there. Grab the new gasket, and we'll get a bolt. Actually, we'll put 2 bolts in our hand. Before we do that, I'm going to take these bolts over and I'm going to clean the threads up, clean the head up, and then reapply the anti-seize you can see that's on there. So I'll do that and then come back. Alright, got our bolts all nice and clean. So now this is the stuff I use. Works pretty good. And I do wear gloves when I use this anti-seize, guys. I've mentioned that if you've seen some of my other videos. After years and years of dealing with chemicals and stuff in the aviation world and now in the car world, I wear gloves when it comes to some of the nasty stuff like that. Alright, so we just work our gasket back in here real carefully. I know you guys can't see that, but I've got the bolt started in the gasket. So now I'm going to lift the header up so I can get the bolt to start in the head, cylinder head. Now I'm going to do the same thing in the back. Alright, you don't want to snug those, you just want to get them started to kind of hold things in place, and then go ahead and get all your other bolts started. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and shut the camera off, and I'll get all those bolts in, and then I'll bring you guys back when I start tightening them down, and then when we torque them. Okay guys, so I've got all the bolts started, and I've got them pulled up where they're touching. Now we can go ahead and start torquing them. The final torque on these is 18 foot-pounds. I'm going to go ahead and go half of that to begin with here, 9. Some of these you got to get a little creative to get a torque wrench in there. And there is one on the bottom about 2/3 of the way back, so back here, that we will not be able to get a socket or a crow's foot or anything on, so we're going to have to just do our best to estimate with a wrench. Alright, let me see if I can get to the bottom one on the back, and probably going to have to use a crow's foot for the couple on the top. Yeah, that's not going to go in there. Okay, so this is what we'll be trying to get in on some of those. I need to buy a quarter drive torque wrench. And then I could get in some of these tighter spaces a little bit better. But, alright, so these others we'll just have to use a wrench on. And that's sometimes how it goes, guys, so. I mean, the other option you have, which I'm not going to do today, is you can take an old wrench, if you've got an old combo wrench like this, and then you can take, take an extra socket, and you can weld it like so, and then that way you can use that to torque. I've had to do that working on aircraft. If you do that, you want to make sure that you're using the extension off of the torque wrench. You want it to be 90 degrees out like that. Otherwise, if you do it up like that, you're increasing the torque, and if you do it down like that, you're decreasing the torque. So sometimes if you can't get in there, you do the best you can. And just so you guys know, to get to this one that's a real bear here, laying underneath the vehicle, you can see it, and it makes it really, really easy to access. Alright, so now we'll go ahead, bump up to 18 foot-pounds, and we'll run through the bolts we can. Go ahead and go to our crow's foot now. Can't stress to you guys enough, if you have the factory bolts, you gotta replace them. You absolutely have to replace them because they are so prone to cracking and just not good. ARP bolts are the best. I have no affiliation with them. I just think they're really awesome bolts. They would be the equivalent of a grade 10. Those of you that are familiar with grades 3, 5, and 8 as far as hardness and all that. So I think Summit Racing has a their version of the ARP bolt. It's a knockoff that we've used in the race cars before, and had really good luck with them. Supposedly tensile strength and all of that is equivalent to an ARP. They're just not quite as expensive. We've done a few different engines where we've put flywheels and pressure plates, stuff like that, on using those. And of course, doing that in racing, you know, this stuff's got more heat, more force on it than just a stock application, so good, pretty good. But no matter what you do, make sure you upgrade your bolts. You can get, if you want to go from your stock manifolds and you want to go to a stock manifold replacement header, there's a couple companies that make those where you just it's as simple as unbolt your stock manifold and bolt on the shorty style headers, and that's it, guys. I mean, it's bolts out, bolts in. Full disclosure, before you did that though, I would go out the night before and spray the bolts down with PB Blaster or something like that. Let that soak overnight, because that'll just make your life a whole heck of a lot easier the next day, and you'll definitely appreciate that. So, but all right, guys. So that's gonna do it for now. Let me get set up to put the inner fender well back in, and then we'll go over that real quick. Alright guys, so we're over here to the driver's side. You can see headers back in there, and I just wanted to go over real quick putting this inner fender well back in. Just kind of take it, feed it in like so. Kind of got to get it around things. Actually gonna have to move the camera back. Get it like so. Okay, now you want to make sure you have it inside of your fender lip. And then inside of these two barriers right here, and this side's a little bit trickier than the other side. It's got a few more things that attach to it as far as wire harnesses and stuff like that. I'm going to go ahead and get one of these started. There we go. I don't know if you guys saw that, but you kind of work it around and all of a sudden it'll kind of pop and go into place. Still got a little bit of working around that it needs. So right here, guys, it's hung up, hitting the fender. So once we take care of that, it'll pop back into space, into place. Like that. Now, that'll let us, now this one's finally lined up. And then our last one is finally lined up. These are just running into a thin metal anchor nut, so you don't want to put a lot of torque on them. Some of these uppers are even going into plastic, so just snug them. And then there's on the back side of this, there's a wire harness clip. That needs to be popped into this hole. If I can get you guys in there to show you. There you can see what's in my hand. So that's got to pop in from the inside. Like so. And then there's a hole up here. That's another harness from the top. And this is stuff, guys, that the other side doesn't have. Okay, guys, you can probably see right there. Not really able to show you the top view of that. Because it's basically under the battery. So guys, that's going to do it for this one. I hope that helps some of you out. Makes it a heck of a lot easier to do several jobs, but especially manifold, gaskets, headers, etc. Of course, the final step would be to put the wheel and tire back on, and then on this truck they get torqued to 125 foot-pounds. So thank you guys for watching. Please like and subscribe if you want to support the channel. We're trying to grow here. We're looking for a lift, and we're gonna ask you guys as subscribers to help us do that. So subscribe, like, and leave any comments or questions you may have down there, and I'll get back to you. I usually go through them at least once a week, so try and get back with you guys. Criticism, go ahead and leave it. Let's talk about it. Let's work on this stuff together. So appreciate you guys, and we'll see you in the next one.